German Chancellor Angela Markel has used the 75th anniversary of the most famous plot to assassinate Adolf Hitler to call on citizens to counter rising right-wing extremism.
Here's a summary of the article.
German Chancellor Angela Markel has used the 75th anniversary of the most famous plot to assassinate Adolf Hitler to call on citizens to counter rising right-wing extremism. Ms. Merkel thanked the German officer, Klaus von Stauffenberg, and other plotters who tried in 1944 to kill the Nazi dictator with a briefcase bomb. Mrs. Merkel urged people to join programs for strengthening democracy. According to government figures, there are 24,000 right-wing extremists in Germany. The German colonel was 36 years old when he tried to kill Adolf Hitler during a meeting at the Nazi leader's secret headquarters, called the Wolf's Lair, in a forest in East Prussia. Hitler survived the assassination attempt with minor injuries after someone had moved the bomb, concealed in a briefcase, next to a heavy table leg, deflecting much of the explosion. The plot, known as Operation Valkyrie, came back to prominence with the 2008 film of the same name, starring Tom Cruise as the former count attempting to overthrow Hitler's Nazi regime.
This post received a score of 14,545, with an upvote ratio of 89%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Merkel. Grammar Nazi.
Alt-right. This headline is curiously worded.
Generally her last name contains an E.
Too even.
Fuck the alt-right and any semblance of far-right ideologies globally. They deserve public ridicule and should be ashamed of themselves.
Ridicule works to an extent, it keeps it out of the public eye, but it does not stop the problem. Ideas are not stopped with disdain and shame, in fact they may become a refuge for people that feel those emotions and identify with the movement.
Greater than ideas are not stopped with disdain and shame, in fact they may become a refuge for people that feel those emotions and identify with the movement. I suspect a very large amount of the people who disagree with this statement are in actuality much less interested in changing hearts and minds than being allowed to engage in full-throated hatred with social sanction. Look at any big thread about the black man who has pulled hundreds of KKK members out of the organization with simple friendship. The comments will be rotten with people making all sorts of exceptions why they don't need to do the same.
I think this is the most important conversation in this thread right now. What strikes me most about this article is that apparently the Germans have a handle on how many extremists they need to worry about, and how many of those are likely to engage in violence. Here in America, law enforcement has almost zero knowledge of right-wing groups. And not by accident.
They know all about them, the two groups share members. They just don't tell us that they know about them.
Are you saying that some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses?
Love a good rage lyric.
Sure, it's easy to condemn it. But that's all talk as long as everyone ignores why Hitler even rose to power and why those conditions are happening again. I prefer Bastille Day.
Those guys were Nazis that were pissed Hitler was losing the war.
Looks like the editor writing the headline has just finished watching Bill and Ted again.
Tolerance doesn't mean being a pacifist and tolerating the intolerable. It means working on a merit-based system which values merit, bit the color of your skin. Being tolerant is not shying away from a fight, it means rising up and challenging someone who tells you someone else is subhuman based on racial and genetic creed, or social upbringing, rather than historical activities. Don't confuse pacifism with tolerance, be made, be angry, defend and push back, as that's what it means to be tolerant and to defend a system based on merit.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.